Hi, Tanya. I see you've jumped on here. You're with me until 5:20. Was that you or is that somebody else? I'm looking here. Wait 1 second. There we go. There we go. And Jenny Graber, I just realized like 10 minutes ago, maybe less than 10 minutes ago, I had an email typed to you, and I just looked to see if you had any questions about the email I sent, and it was still in draft mode, so I didn't send it. So no worries. You can even do it afterwards if that's easiest for you. Hi, Jen from Melbourne, Australia. Hi, Joyce. And who else is here? Tony's here, Diana's here, Lori, Vesta, Tanya. Yes, so welcome to Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. I'm so happy you're joining me today in my studio for this Facebook Live. I have some great cards to share with you today using the Trekking Along stamp set. And we're using just the stamp set today. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then one of the cards uses this background stamp, sketched plaid. So I'm excited to show you those cards. Before we get started though, a couple of quick reminders. Today, July 30th, 31st is the very last day to earn bonus coupons from Stampin' Up. If you place a $50 or more order, you get a $5 coupon code to use on purchases in August. Also, on Friday, I put out information on a summer prize party, and I'm giving away a summer shopping spree, a Stampin' Up! Shopping spree. And this is basically like a mystery host party, and any orders that were collected from Friday through midnight tonight will be included in that drawing, and the winner will receive the Stampin' Rewards for that summer prize party, meaning they'll get some free product. I will tell you the orders for that coming in are a little slow, so if you want to get in on it, your chances of winning are looking very good right now. Of course, there's no promises. I will only have one winner, but right now, your chances are good, I'll say. And certainly way better than the lottery. Also, and information about that is you can find that if you look on this page, just below the word featured, you'll see a yellow box and it has a link. Click the link in that graphic, and that will take you to stampinpeace.com, and there is a whole post about how that how you can possibly win the Stampin' Up! Shopping spree from me. But today is the last day for that. So bonus days and the chance to win the shopping spree, both promotions and today, okay? I announced yesterday a new class to go. You can also find information about that at stampinpeace.com if you're not a newsletter subscriber, because it did go out in my newsletter, email newsletter first. Here are just 2 of the 4 card designs, and the whole class features the Hello Irresistible suite, which is part of our online exclusive collection. Tomorrow, August 1st, we have a lot going on, and I'll try to get an email out tomorrow. August 1st, I will have a new One Sheet Wonder class to go featuring inked botanicals, and registration for that will be open August 1st through the 10th. And Stampin' Up! Is having a kits sale. Every kit in our collection, not including Paper Pumpkin, that's a whole different thing, but in our kits collection online, I believe all of the kits will be discounted. Some 10%, some 20%, and some 30%. So you want to check that out starting tomorrow. And that promotion is good for the whole month of August. And of course, kits are always while supplies last. So if you see one you have to have, I would encourage you to order that sooner rather than later. Also, starting August 1st for the whole month, that is when you can redeem your bonus days coupons. And if you're a demonstrator, the pre-order for the September to December mini catalog begins August 2nd. If you're not a demonstrator, but you're interested in getting your hands on some of these brand new products sooner rather than later, and you want to take advantage of the pre-order, you can put pre-order products into a starter kit. So now is a great time to join my Merry Stampers team. All right, I'm flipping the camera now. That was a lot to say in just a little bit of time. But I will flip my camera around now and we'll get started with today's Trucking Along cards. Please share this live video and invite others to join us as well. Okay. And also that irresistible, Hello Irresistible class to go. The option 1 does include the entire suite, and the option 2 includes the DSP and the embellishments. Alrighty, Mary Lou joined us, Kathy joined us. Okay, the first card we're going to make, and again, all of them are using the Trucking Along bundle. I'm going to show you 3 different cards, and each one uses a whole different color combination and has a different theme to it. Now, I know many of you, when you realized I'm featuring the Trucking Along bundle, or Trucking Along stamp set, you may have thought, well, Mary, the punch isn't available. All of the, I'm trying to get this just right on the screen for you. And what's showing up on my phone screen, my camera screen, and the computer screen are not the same, so it's always tricky. Sorry about that. It's still not good. Oh well, we're going forward. The Trucking Along punch is currently unavailable. You will be able to get that mid-October, okay? But if you really want the bundle, you can wait till mid-October. However, if you love the stamp set, you can get this now, get the punch later. Of course, you won't get the bundle price, so, you know, that's a toss-up for you. But what I want to show you today is you can make great cards with just the stamp set. You don't necessarily need the punch. The punch is like a bonus or icing on the cake, I'll say. And for those of you that have been around Stampin' Up! For quite a while, you probably remember the days when we did not have coordinating punches and coordinating dies. Does anybody remember that? There have been so many changes at Stampin' Up! In the 15 years that I've been here. And that's one of the biggest changes I see, the amount of coordinating products. So it's kind of taken me back a few years, we'll say, and I'm going to make some great cards with just the stamp set, okay? So that's our focus today. So just so you know up front, don't be disappointed if you don't see the punch being used today. And when the punch comes, maybe we'll do some more things. Okay, so I'm going to start with Tahitian Tide, and I've got my black memento. All of my details and my sentiments will be stamped in the black. But for the 3 different cards, I'm using or making 3 different colors of truck. So this one is Tahitian Tide. Looks a little bubbly there. Mine's pretty juicy, but it looks pretty good. I found, now you have the solid image of the truck and then you have the outline. Oftentimes I stamp the outline first and then do the truck. I don't know why, but this time I was having trouble doing it that way, so I switched, and I have found that it was easier for me to match up the solid image with the outline image doing it this way. Okay. And once I've done that, and you'll see I'll pretty much repeat these steps for the 3 different trucks I am stamping today. This is a little tricky because with the camera right above, it's hard for me to look over the top. Hi there, Joan from Washington State and Jennifer from North Carolina. I'm so happy you all are here. And then I have this little, I'll call it like the road stamp. And I'm just going to put that right under the tires. And now I'm going to add a little something in the back of the truck. And I'm going to add this. It's got a palm tree and like a blow-up ring, pool ring, and what I think is a surfboard. And it's kind of nice because it's got this curb, so it goes over the cab of the truck, and then it's flat where it goes over the bed of the truck. So it's easy to know where to place it. And then I'm going to stamp the leaves of the palm tree in Old Olive. And this was pretty easy for me to line up, again, because I have the image of the leaves, but also the curve going around the bed of the truck, and then, or the cab of the truck and the bed of the truck. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of coloring with Stampin' Blends. I've got Smoky Slate, and I'm going to go around the wheels like that. Or you can leave them white, make it a white wall tires, truck with white wall tires. And then I'm going to use Daffodil Delight for the surfboard. And I'm going to use Berry Burst for that pool float, that ring. Super easy, doesn't take much time to color at all. And then I'm going to use Light Pebbled Path for, so it looks like the trunk of the tree. Okay. And that's pretty much it for my first card. Now I'm going to put the card together. This square was die cut using the largest square die in the Stylish Shapes dies collection. Okay, Stylish Shapes, that's the one that has those dotted outlines. And then the piece of black I mounted it to was just barely under 3 inches, just a smidge under 3 inches. And I did that because I wanted it to have a narrow border, and going up to 3 was just a little too much. Not quite in sync with the measurements of that square, of the white square. Then I've got Granny Apple Green that measures 4 3/4 by 3.5 inches. And I'm mounting this onto black that is just 1/8 of an inch larger. So that's 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. And then I'm ready to adhere my layered squares to that. And I'm doing it so that I have an even border of the Granny Apple Green color around the left, top, and right sides of that square. I'm going to put those layers then on my card base made of Tahitian Tide, super bright blue. I've got the 5 1/4 by 4 inch basic white in the center. Not the center, the inside. I don't know why I started saying center. It's the inside of the card. Okay. Notice that because this is a photopolymer stamp, it's got stamps we can see all the way through, that I've doing all of my stamping on top of my Stampin' Pierce mat. Whenever you're using photopolymer stamps, you need something with a little give, a little cushion underneath to get the best stamping. And I'm going to, whoops, I don't see the sentiment. I think I probably put that one away. Yes, I did. So this sentiment says, sending you sunny thoughts. And I thought this was very appropriate to go with the theme, the items in the truck bed. So this piece measures 3 1/4 inches by 1/2 inch. And then I'm just going to use a couple of dimensionals to put this on my card. And you probably guessed that I'm putting it right down in this space of Granny Apple Green. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add some classic matte dots for embellishments. I'm just going to do, whoops. Come on. Let me try that again. Okay, I'm going to use 3 of these small black dots. Remember, when we're working with embellishments, we typically use odd numbers. So 3 or 5, something like that. I most often use 3. Sometimes I go 5. Just depends on the design, really. All right, so there is card number 1. Now you could do more around this. You could use a blending brush and put maybe some blue sky or some gray, more for the road. Also in the stamp, there are clouds and there's a tree. This is even a like fence. Is fence the right word? That could go up on the truck bed. So there are lots of different looks you can get by incorporating some of those other stamps in the set. But I just like this nice, clean look about the card. That is one I will be giving away, so you want to hang on to the end. Okay, then I kind of got into my Christmas groove. So the next card I'm going to show you features cherry cobbler, shaded spruce, a little bit of crumb cake, and of course the black and the white. And I'm going to stamp my truck. I need to clean this off That's what my reach is when you see my arm over there. I need to clean off that previous color before I ink it up with, this is pretty juicy here. Let me see if I can, I don't know where my thingy is to move my ink. Yeah, that color is pretty intense. But Cherry Cobbler is probably my all-time favorite red, Stampin' Up! Red. It's just classic and rich. I just love it. Next, I'm going to, just like on the first truck, the second step is stamping the outline. And I want to point out here, I use like the bottom of these fenders. I think that's what they're called. Not really a car person, but I think that's the right term. I use the bottom of the fenders to kind of line things up. Okay, that's where I'm looking. And then next I'm going to add the black to the tires. I'm also going to mention on this particular stamp, I found myself a lot of times getting black between the tires, so be aware of that if yours does the same thing, and if so, just have a paper towel or something available that you can wipe off that black ink before you stamp onto your cardstock. Next, I'm going to stamp that little bit of road. And then this person has just picked up the family Christmas tree. So I'm going to stamp the outline in black. And then I'm going to stamp the inside with shaded spruce. Now I am going to stamp off, I think that's what I did. Oh, that looks pretty good. And this is what it would look like stamped off. So it's kind of a toss-up for me if you want to go the deep color or if you want to stamp off first. I think I'm just going to go full on. And I'm going to do my best to match up the green with the black outline. Pretty good. Okay, so here's my sample. And on this one, you get two different looks because this, I stamped the outline in the shaded spruce, but then I stamped off the color. So I just want to show you that so that you see you can get, you can make those small changes and get whatever look that you're going for. And once again, I've got my Smoky Slate Stampin' Blend, just filling in the tires and the bumpers a little bit there. And before I put my card together, I'm going to stamp this piece of cardstock. And I do want to stamp on top of, well, actually I don't need that. I'm going to use the Sketched Plaid background stamp to do this. Now, if you were with me last week, we were working with the Berry Harvest background stamp, and I told you because of the size of that stamp and the clear block, I think it's hard to handle. So this is the way I ink up my background stamps. And then I just kind of lay the cardstock on top. Now I need to press that down, but I don't want inky fingers. So I've got a piece of scrap paper, grid paper, and I'm holding down in the middle because I don't want that cardstock to move. So I always have one hand that's holding the layers of cardstock and scrap paper down. And then I just smooth over all of it with a flat hand. So that's what my scrap paper now looks like. And then I can go ahead and pick up my cardstock. You might want to use take your pick tool, the piercing end, or if you have craft tweezers, the tips of your paper snips, whatever, to pick that up so you don't slide it and smear it at all. Okay, hi Mary Ellen from California, and thanks so much for sharing. Hi there, Julie. All right, let me get this out of the way. And now we're ready to put our Christmas card together. So again, I'm using Rich Razzleberry. I think I said that earlier. Or not Rich Razzleberry, that's even retired. Cherry Cobbler. Cherry Cobbler, my favorite Stampin' Up! Red ever. And the dimensions on all of these cards are the same. I'm making 3 different cards, but they're all the same, use the same dimensions. So my Shaded Spruce cardstock is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then the black it's layered onto is 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. Of course, my die cut square and black are also the same as the first card. Now, on my first card, I made it vertical. This would be a great vertical card, but I wanted to show you how easy it is to use the same card sketch. By card sketch, I mean a layout. Use that same card sketch, but turn it a different direction. So that's what I'm doing with this Christmas card. Joan, you love the plaid. I just got this, and it was based on a card I received from that demonstrator event I was at in Canada a couple weeks ago. All right. This is my basic white 5 1/4 by 4 inches for the inside. I know you guys know that about putting this on the inside, but I like to do it when I'm making the cards. And even if you don't want to adhere yours because you think you might stamp in it later, at least tuck in that piece of white or whatever neutral you're using, because then when you pull the card, it's right there when you're ready. And this time I'm stamping a Christmas sentiment. It says, wishing you a festive Christmas, and I'm going to stamp that with my Memento ink, black Memento ink. And I'm stamping it on a banner of crumb cake cardstock, and it measures 3/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches, and I just trimmed the end with my banner's pick-a-punch. You could also just make a banner end with your paper snips, but I have to say, banner's pick-a-punch, if you're with me much at all, you probably know that is one of my go-to punches. I use it a lot, and I highly recommend it. And then I'm just going to add this sentiment to my card front right about there. And then I've pulled out the Tinsel Gems 4-pack. Tinsel Gems 4-pack. So there's actually 4 colors in here, and I'm going to use the green. And each color has 2 sizes, a large and a small. So I'm going to put a large one right here. And then I'm going to do 2 small ones, I think, right here and here. I don't know how well you can see this in the video, but they're called tinsel gems, and it looks like there's a tiny bit of tinsel in there. So it kind of sparkles and shimmers, in addition to just being the very pretty color. So that's our second card. Okay, now on to the third card. Pull my sample out here. I'm just going to be honest and say, yes, I am one of those people who wants to go see the Barbie movie. I didn't play Barbies when I was a kid. I played with dolls. My sister Janet was into Barbies, and Joan was more into like stuffed animals and sports, and she came along much later. But I played with Barbie somewhat, but the movie just kind of intrigues me. I think because it brings up childhood memories, really. So this card that I'm going to be making now, I'll say was inspired by the Barbie movie, okay? Put it that way. Now, does anybody remember our polished pink? That would have been the perfect Barbie color, but I'm using Melon Mambo. I'm just gonna stamp that. One thing I noticed about my Mellow Mambo ink, I don't know if it's because the age or what, but to me it looks a little more red than the cardstock. But I'm going to show you a trick for that. But I still want to stamp it on here. So now I'm going to stamp the outline of that truck. And then stamp the wheels. Again, making sure I don't have ink between those tires. Stamp a little bit of road here. And then with this, I'm also going to stamp some clouds. Now there is an outline shape to the clouds, but I'm just going to use the solid shape. And I don't really need that. Well, yes, I do. So I don't get ink on my mat, just in case. So I'm just gonna stamp some clouds. And after I stamp, I'm also going to be stamping off. Now, one thing about stamping and stamping off, if you stamp something off, I'm gonna go here, off the cardstock, you'll notice that I still have more ink on one side than I do the other. So if I immediately stamp off onto my cardstock, I'm going to have varying shades in there. Okay, so if you want to avoid that, go back in and let's see, where do I want this? And stamp off onto your scrap paper. Does that make sense? Okay. I didn't get too close to that truck because Barbie is going to, let me find it, a birthday party. So she's got her Melon Mambo truck loaded up with presents. I don't know where she's going. Is she going to Ken's party or one of her girlfriends? I have no idea. Now, there is for all the images that you can stamp in the truck, there are solid images that you can fill in the outlines. So we did that with the trees and the palm tree. You can do it with the gifts. You can do it with these pretty plants or the flowers. But I'm not choosing to use the solid image for the presents because I want those presents to be different colors. And yes, I could color the actual stamp with Stampin' Write markers, but I'm going to go ahead and use my Stampin' blends to color in So just be aware of that. So that was Pumpkin Pie. This is Daffodil Delight. And I use the dark shade of both of those colors. And then I'm going to use Tahitian Tide and Granny Apple Green together for the last two presents. The coloring is very fast. It's very easy. Use the small tip of your Stampin' blends for those tiny images. Again, using Smoky Slate Light for the inside of the tires and the bumpers. All right. I'm going to do, I'll put that away because I'll need it again. I'm going to do a little bit of stamping before I put my card together. Where's my bone folder? It's got lost in all those Stampin' blends I have to the side here. So Melon Mambo card base, basic white on the inside. Oh, look at my nails. I didn't even notice that before. I guess that's Melon Mambo. I don't know what they called it at the nail salon, but to me it looks like Melon Mambo. All right. I'm going to, no, this is the one I want. I'm going to stamp around my card front in Melon Mambo ink on the Melon Mambo cardstock. And I've cleaned off my stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp all the way around. And I know there's no line on the bottom of the presents. That's okay. I'm not worrying about it at all. And as I'm randomly stamping around the outside of the card base, I'm just turning my stamp different directions, making it look more random, a little more interesting. Clean off that a little bit. And again, I'm using cardstock of all the same dimensions as I did on my first two cards. So we know that those layered squares are going to go over here, right? So I want to fill in that area to the left of where the layered squares will be. Let me see if I've got enough there. Yes, I think so. This could have been a little closer. Yeah. Maybe a tiny bit right there. Okay. So I've done that. You know, you could stamp the whole thing. You don't need to though, because it's not all going to be showing. You could also even just place your layers down like that to know. So I'm going to now adhere my white stamped square to the black cardstock. I'm going to do one more thing. Since we added the clouds at the top, I feel like things are a little unbalanced, so I want to fill this in at the bottom just a little bit. And watch what I do and how easily I do this. So I've taken a sponge dauber and I'm using my Smoky Slate ink pad. Just dab a little ink on there and test it out here. Okay. And what I'm going to do is just drag that dauber across. Okay. Did you just see that gnat? But there, I think I got him. I've had one gnat down here for like a week. Really? Was it during the last Facebook Live that he showed up, was flying in my face? Oh, crazy. But I guess they need someplace to go to. All right, so now we're ready to put the card together. And then we're going to talk about that ink color. So I'm layering the yellow 4 3/4 by 3.5 on top of the black. All the same sizes I used on the other cards. So that makes it easy, right? To have one set of cutting dimensions. Again, this card would work well either way. I just happen to make it vertical. Or maybe I should, but maybe I should. My sample's vertical, but maybe I should go. Let's go, or my sample's horizontal. Okay, here's my sample card. Let's just change it up and go the opposite direction because I like the way that this sentiment on the layered ovals will fit in that yellow space. So I'm adding the sentiment to the Melon Mambo scalloped oval. Both of these were punched with the double oval punch. You all know what I'm talking about, I think. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying, Tony. She says, well, now your presents are sideways. I guess some are. Yeah, I see what you're saying. All right. We'll flip it back. Suze, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only demonstrator that's been going live and having a trouble with gnats. I'm like, there's no food down here. There's no fruit, no produce, nothing. Where is it coming from? So let's just do that. Tony, I think you're right about that. I should have thought of that before I changed my mind, right? And then I'm just going to add my sentiment right here. Now, do you notice the color is pretty close? The Melon Mambo ink truck and the cardstock, right? It's pretty darn close. And usually they're spot on. But that got me thinking, we could do some paper piecing. We still don't need the punch because we're just going to do some very simple, quick cutting. I'm really just cutting around what would be the body of the truck, not the tires. And I have a cool new tool to show you too. But this is a great opportunity to show some paper piecing. So I didn't necessarily need to stamp the inside, the solid part of the truck. I could have just stamped the outline there just to give me a guide as to where to place them, because I want to work this around the stamped tires and the road and the presents in the bed of the truck. There are so many people on today. This is fabulous. I think this might be a record, the most I've ever had on a Monday at 5. I love it. You guys just made my day. I know lots of people watch the replay later, but it's always fun to see names pop up for the live. Okay, so I have this, all right? Now there's that back window. I'm just going to quickly cut that out with my paper snips. Now, it's going to be hard to cut out this center window, isn't it? Well, it would have been, but we have these new, I don't even know what they're called. What are they calling it? Take Your Pick Crafters Tips. So they are additional tips to use with your Take Your Pick tool. And you know I have a couple of them because I like to have all the different tips exposed. So let me take this off. This is the die brush. And I'm going to put this one in. I'll have to do a video about all the different tips here. But this tip is an X-Acto knife. Brilliant, right? This one is like a rotary cutter, and it cuts, does like a ticket cut. What am I trying to say? Why isn't the word coming to me? Like a dotted or dashed line, okay? And then there are these. There's a finer perforated. Thank you very much. There's a finer point than on our first one. And then there's like this hook pick as well. So yes, I'll need to do, I just got that, so I'll need to do a video or something with that. Yes, Kathy likes stitches. So I'm just going to go over that window, and this like cuts like beautifully. It's easy to hold. The tip is very sharp to start with. Of course, the tip's probably, you know, in time will wear out, and you just replace it with another tip. But look how nicely this cuts out. Whoops. Got one hanging on one little thread there. Let me see if it didn't go right to the corner. And I recommend that you do this cutting with the knife tip on some kind of surface that gives you a little cushion. It's not going to damage maybe your desktop or something like that, okay? And then it has this awesome cap so we don't hurt ourselves. And I'll put that aside, put these aside, and I'm just going to put this right over that. And doesn't that look cool? It looks different, right? This is not bad. This is good. I like it. But it just got me thinking, oh, this would be a fun time to do some paper piecing is with this truck. And it really was quite easy and quick to cut out, especially those windows, that window, because I have the crafter's tips for the Take Your Pick tool. Those can be found in the online store as well as the annual catalog, okay? But isn't that fun? And I didn't have to punch it either. Now, when you punch these, you do get a little white border around the truck, and that's okay too. But again, I do have the punch. I love it. I have used it. But today I wanted to focus on showing you cards that you can make that don't require having that punch, simply because it's not available right now. And again, it will be available in October if you want to wait and buy the bundle then. My guess is it will sell out quickly. That's just my guess. So here's the cards. There's the first one we made, sending you sunny thoughts. The second one, wishing you a festive Christmas. And we used the sketched plaid background stamp. And then special delivery for Barbie going to a party. But you know what? I forgot embellishments here. So I think we should just pull a few out. And I think I know exactly what I want. I'm going to use some of the iridescent rhinestones. I love how these pick up the colors of whatever you're using them on. And Barbie's kind of, you know, into her glitter and glam. You know, I remember the first Barbies I had, my mom actually bought at a garage sale. It even had a case. So they were really old Barbies. I mean, this would have been like, gosh, like early 70s, I'm thinking. But some people in our neighborhood were having a garage sale, and we walked down the street with our red wagon, and Mom bought Barbie stuff for us. So that was kind of cool. That's what I remember. And it was a black, kind of like faux patent leather case to put Barbie's clothes in and everything. So pretty fun. All right. What do you think of the Trucking Along stamp set and the cards I made today? Keep in mind that we also used the sketched plaid stamp. This is available in, I believe this is in the annual catalog, plus the online store. And then this would just be in the online exclusives section of the online store. And again, it does have the coordinating punch, but the punch is unavailable till about mid-October. All right, but you can order the stamp set now and get started making your Christmas cards, or maybe make some fun birthday cards, whatever you like. I also like that you have, you can make it seasonal by switching out colors with the different images. All right, I'm going to give these 3 cards away. If you would like to have your name entered into the drawing to receive one of these 3 cards, I would like you to type in the comments. Now listen in, because this is long. I want you to type in Trucking Along stamp set only, okay? Because that's our reminder that we don't always have to have a punch or die to make great cards, okay? Stamps, ink, and paper, right? We can do it. So Trucking Along stamp set only. Alrighty. Any other thoughts? Any questions? I know I threw a lot at you before we did the card making demonstration. Be sure to go to stampinpeace.com to get the information on my shopping spree giveaway for one lucky winner. That ends tonight, along with the bonus days. Also, you'll want to go to stampinpeace.com to get the information on my Hello Irresistible class to go. All those things are posted now, as well as the 2 Facebook Lives from last week using the Berry Harvest stamp. We did some fun techniques last week. If you weren't here, we did the Spotlight technique on Monday, and then on Thursday we did Emboss Resist. So had a lot of fun sharing those with you. All right, everyone, have a great Monday evening. And I need to tell you, I will be gone Thursday through Sunday. I'm going on a craft weekend with friends. Again, I know it seems like I've gone a lot in the last few months, gone a lot of different places. It's either feast or famine for me. I can be at home for months. But anyways, I will be gone on Thursday. I don't know that I'll have a video. It'll probably just be a blog post, but I am again going to feature the Trucking Along stamp set, and I've got 3 cards made. 2 of them, one uses just the stamp set, and then I've made 2 more very similar to it, which use the punch. But so you'll want to check that out. It'll be on stampinpeace.com. All right, everybody, have a great night. Happy stamping, and once again, thank you for spending part of your day with me.